In this video, we'll look at the magic equation, which is a heuristic that you can use to describe absolutely anything in your CV. But before we get into the magic equation, I would urge you to watch the previous video, which was about the golden column in your CV. And the reason for that is that the magic equation derives its rationale from the golden column. The second thing the magic equation derives its rationale from is the STAR approach to preparing for and answering interview questions. The acronym STAR in the STAR approach stands for Situation, Task, Action and Result. And if you're not familiar with this approach, I would urge you to just Google this information and find out more about it. Okay, so the equation is quite simple. It goes something like this. Action equals a relevant past tense verb plus the context within which that action occurred plus the results emanating from that action. To understand how this works, let's first look at an example. Notice that in this example, the candidate is describing the role and responsibilities rather than the actions that were taken as part of the job. The bullet point says, responsible for managing the sales team and achieving the yearly targets. Now, this does not give us the full flavor of what this candidate has done and achieved and what skills the candidate used to fulfill the role and responsibility. Now let's look at how the same task has been described using the magic equation. It goes something like this. Supervised and managed a 25-member sales team to prospect and close B2B customers, resulting in a 125% increase in annual sales. Now, the latter response is the complete response, which tells us that the candidate has supervision skills, management skills, sales skills, team building skills, and can also achieve targets. Now, to further understand how this works, let's look at each constituent component of the magic equation. The first part of the magic equation is a relevant past tense verb. Now, why should we begin with a relevant verb? The simple answer to this is that your recruiter, like the rest of us, is likely to read his documents from left to right and then top to bottom. Essentially, he will skim the golden column. And what this means is that you should rather have the relevant action words in that golden column. Let's take an example for this. So in this example, you'll see that the candidate is continuously describing roles and responsibilities with the effect that in the golden column, the word responsible is repeated many times over. And it does not give us any flavor of what kind of work this candidate has done and what kind of skills that the candidate has enhanced. Instead, when we use the magic equation in the golden column together, we find that you get relevant words in the golden column, which is so if you use the magic equation, the recruiter is more likely to take away words like analyzed, drafted, calculated, audited, implemented, and that gives the recruiter a better understanding of what kind of tasks the recruiter can or the employer can put you to the moment they hire you. And this is a valuable piece of information. Now you may ask why the past tense bit is important. It is likely that in your previous job, you completed several weekly, monthly, quarterly rounds of the same task, and actually you're still in that job and some of those tasks are still ongoing. And in this case, my suggestion would be to break up the task into two parts. One which has ended, and so you can describe it in the correct tense. And then there is the part which is still ongoing, for which you can then again use the correct tense and then tell your employer about the likely date of completion and the likely result of that action. Alright, let's look at the second component of the magic equation now, which is context. Alright, so simply stated, context describes the circumstance in which that action took place, and it gives us a very good opportunity to import specific tools that you might have used to do the task. It includes information about who were you doing the task for, who delegated you the task. It includes information about the different complexities that you might have overcome to fulfill that role. Context also gives you the opportunity to smuggle in information about your employer into your actions. For example, if your employer deals in business to business products, the context will present the ideal situation or the ideal opportunity to import that particular information. And you don't have to waste any space anywhere in your CV to describe what your employer did or does and what kind of organization it is, because all of that information you can easily import into context. The other benefit of context, like I said, is that you can import information about the tools you've used to fulfill the role responsibilities or to complete the task. For example, many candidates provide laundry lists of IT skills that they have, and I find it much better if the IT skills are described in context of the actions they've taken. For example, instead of saying that you know MS Excel and SPSS or some other tool, it's better to say that you've designed a certain application or accounting system using Microsoft Excel, and that gives us an understanding of your proficiency level and obviously the fact that you know the software, and also tells the employer the tasks they can expect you to do once they hire you. The final part of this equation is results. This stems from the fact that you and I and your recruiters are bound to be goal-oriented creatures. It's not just the actions that matter to us, but also what results those actions brought. The thing to remember here is that there are results for which you don't need to explain what your actions were. For example, if you write that you have published a book with a certain publisher, the recruiter can be sure that you were the author or the writer of that book. However, when it comes to corporate careers, there's a lot of teamwork involved. And many times, even if you clearly state the results or the outcome of actions, it isn't clear which aspect of the result or the success were you actually responsible for. Did you lead the project? Did you design the advertising for the campaign? Did you simply do budgeting or accounting for the project? What are the 3 or 4 key actions you've contributed towards that result or that success? These are important things to state. And that's it really. That's the magic equation that helps you to describe absolutely anything in your CV in terms of actions. And once again, it is action equals a relevant past tense verb plus context plus results, if any. And like I've already said, you can use this magic equation to not just describe the actions you've taken as part of your work experience, but also when describing your interests, your extracurricular activities, and your skills. And if you want to know how to describe your interests or skills or extracurricular activities using the magic equation, feel free to leave a comment on my Patreon page. Thanks for watching.